Hello, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Patty Chapman. I work in the College of Business Career Management Center, and today's Tuesday talk is focused on software technology and CIS. Just a reminder that this session is being recorded and the link will be posted in Handshake tomorrow under the Alumni Chats resource card for all College of Business students to listen to whenever is convenient. We'll have about 20 minutes to chat with our guest today, and then about 10 minutes at the end for live audience questions. And with that, I'd like to welcome our guest today, 2018 MBA alumni, Dhira Prasanti. Dhira joined Zayo in 2018 after completing her MBA here at CSU as a product manager doing commercial product management work. So think P&L, contracts, business strategy. And then after 2.5 years, she decided to shift her career to the software world with no software experience whatsoever. And now she owns the Fiber and Wavelengths network software roadmap strategy, oversees software development implementation, and works closely with management teams to plan, develop, and execute technical strategies aligned to their clients' mission, vision, and purpose. So Dhira, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we'll go ahead and get started here. So can you tell us who you are and your path to Colorado State's early career MBA program after attending the University of Indonesia?
Yeah, so I am Dhira Prasanti. I work at Zayo, which is a telecommunication company since 2018, like Patty mentioned. The path to get here was pretty long. So I'm from Indonesia and I finished my bachelor degree there in Indonesia, and my major that time was in public health and majoring in health and safety. So nothing but business, nothing but technology, nothing. And then I worked for a construction company for almost a year after I finished my bachelor degree. And then I realized that, like, okay, if I want to be the CEO, I can't just have my bachelor degree. So I decided that, like, okay, I need business knowledge, so let's do MBA. So then that's the path for me to get to CSU MBA. So I did that from 2016 to 2018. And then after that, then I started Zayo.
Nice. How did you choose Colorado? Like truly the other side of the world. What got you here?
See, that's funny. I have a funny story because my dad wanted me to go to school that have as less Indonesian as possible. So big city like LA, New York is just not happening. And then we found Colorado State University through a school fair. And then we asked more, and then that time CSU have the early career MBA, which that time it fits me because I don't have a lot of work experience, and I still want to do MBA. So that time the program really fits me well, and it ended up actually being great for me.
Oh, nice. Well, we loved having you here, and you're still in Fort Collins working pretty close to Fort Collins. So it's nice to have you around. Can you tell us how you got connected with Zayo? You know, they attend many of our recruiting events here, like our Job and Internship Expo. I know you have attended our events, recruiting more students to Zayo. What did your path look like from CSU to where you're at?
Yeah, so I think I went to a lot of career fair. As you know, I go to like every career fair and always talk to Zayo. And usually people that attend the career fair that time was like usually the same person. So like she recognized my face at one point. And then at the same time, I was in this like MBA leadership committee group that time. And then we had this like career event, which I led that event. And then that time I invited Zayo. So at one point I know already multiple people at Zayo, and then I applied and got the interview. And that time they actually rejected me.
Oh no.
My first interview. So I was like, okay, fine. But then two months later after that, they're like calling me in the middle of nowhere, like, hey, I still kept your resume. I actually like your profile. Are you still looking for a job? And so that time, it was like a month after graduation. So I was still interviewing. So I was like, yeah, of course. So yeah, that's how I got to Deo. So it was pretty unique. So
Yeah.
I think you just never know when you get rejected. It doesn't mean that you will get rejected forever, because maybe they'll keep your resume for months and call you again.
Yeah, a lot of smart employers do that, and recruiters are very savvy, I feel like, in remembering student faces, and you know, you just showed up to career events. So students, it's a great reminder to come to events and expo and connect and network.
Yeah, for sure.
So our topic today is technology, and I want to make sure that we spend most of our time on that. Can you just tell us how you made the jump from, product manager to owning the fiber and wavelength software with no experience? Like, how did you land that?
Yeah, it was a pretty brave move. So yeah, I did the commercial product manager for 2.5 years. So that one was more like a business side of like, how do we get more revenue, or how do we reduce the churns and like reducing the loss, and talk to customers and make sure the contracts like will benefit us too. So that's like really on the business strategy. And then after 2.5 years, I'm like, okay, I need something new and challenging, because I know a lot that time by now. Well, by then, about like how to negotiate contracts and everything. And I'm like, okay, I just need something new. And so I just reached out to the VP of software, like, hi, I want a new role. I don't have any experience in software, but I would love to learn. I see that you have an opening for IT project manager that time. And then I want that job, basically. So yeah, and that time was also the first time that she knew my name too. So she's like, okay, cool, let's do the interviews.
Wow.
And then yeah, so I had, and then yeah, even though I came from internal candidate, I still have to do 2-3 interviews to get to the role. So I talked to developers, which I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about your stuff, but I'll talk to you. So yeah, basically making the impressions that like I would love to learn. Like, me not having experience doesn't mean I don't know anything, like, because I can learn. And when I was in the MBA, I had a graduate certificate in project management too. So I know a little bit about like software development process, but that's it, like nothing more. And then on the interview, they actually like my personality. So having a good personality actually helps than like having tons of knowledge and experience with no good personality. So that time that they said that is why they hired me, is because I have a good personality. But yeah, that's like a brave move of like reaching out to someone like, hey, I want the job. And then so I did that project manager slash Scrum Master for like 9 months, while also doing a little bit of product manager role from the software side. And then suddenly the product manager role for software came up. It's a brand new role. And I also told my boss, like, hey, I'm already doing this job. I want this job too. So then he gave me the job.
Wow, the initiative. That was bold, like reaching out to a director, have never met them. That is amazing. That goes a long ways. Clearly, everybody wants you on your team. You have a great personality, but that initiative, that's impressive. Good work.
Thank you. It's a great move, and it feels like it's nothing, like I don't have like nothing to lose. Like if I don't get it, then it's fine. If I get it, then it's great. Like I don't have anything to lose. So
I love that. That's an excellent mindset. Are there challenges within your role? Like what challenges you?
Well, obviously, now after I get accepted to the role, I have to learn software stuff. That was hard for like me, coming from business side to talking to developers, which have different personalities. So you kind of have to match the personality of developers of being like I don't generalize developers' personality, but half of them are like introvert, just want to get things done, don't want to talk to you a lot. So making sure that like you're concise and clear with your directions, and but some of them are also like pretty open to like, hey, let's get drinks or whatever. So dealing with a different personality from a different side of the business, and then obviously learning about the technical world, which takes me a while too, to finally learn what they're talking about, I guess. So asking questions is also important. And thankfully they're like open for like me asking questions and them answering questions. So I think that's the big challenge, is like learning and making sure that your personality also match with like different people at work.
Interesting. Yeah, those are definitely all challenges in whatever realm of work you're in.
Yeah.
So you also bring a solid understanding of the industry trends, clearly excellent communication skills, talent for spotting areas that need improvement, and then implementing those changes. How do you do this? How do you go about identifying those trends all the way to implementing them within your clients?
Yeah, so let's start with that market trends. We do a lot of research of like what our competitors do, and then also talking to customers of like, hey, what do you want to see from our website? Because I'm doing software website stuff, right? So we would ask customers, we would ask the product management that own the product, right? Because basically with software, I would work on the software side, but there are also people that do the job I was doing before, which is like owning the strategy and profit and loss. So I talked to them too of like, hey, what can we do for you to sell more products and get more revenue? And so it's really a lot of like talking to people, talk to customers, and researching, just like Googling like what is new in telecom. That goes a long way. So
nice.
and for the spotting something that needs to happen, I think I usually just put myself in the customer's side and then just open our website like, okay, I am a customer, I don't know anything, where would I go? And then if I can find the direction that I know that, okay, that's the thing we need to fix. So
interesting.
We do a lot of like placing us in customer eyes too. So yeah.
Awesome. So can you clarify what Zayo does? Like, who are your customers? Who are your clients that you're working for?
Yeah. So Zayo is a telecom company, telecommunication company. We sell a lot of products right now, ranging from like fiber optics, so the actual cable underground, and then also to like internet, to like DDoS protection, to make sure that like there's no attacks to your website. So our product is really growing from like the first time I joined Zayo, which is great. So yeah, we offer a full range of telecom products, from fiber to the internet to anything to protect your network.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Because just clarify.
Yeah, and then our customers is everyone. Think about like the big tech company, carriers company, like your carrier providers, government, financial service, like it's everyone, because like everyone needs network and internet. So as long as you need network, that is our customer.
Great context. Lots of software, big, massive company located here in Boulder, also Denver office. So yeah, definitely lots of opportunities within Zayo as well. So Dhira, you mentioned it earlier, and your bio also mentions it, and I know I can't be the only one wondering, what is a Scrum Master? Can you tell us what that is and like how that relates to the software world?
Yeah, so in the traditional world, Scrum Master it's not the same, but think about the project manager of the team. So there is a project manager that manage the development team and make sure that they do the work, they finish the work. But like as a Scrum Master, you go beyond just managing work. You also make sure that like your team is happy. You make sure that there is no roadblocks. So just like beyond just like managing projects, give them stuff, but also making sure that like during the process they are happy doing the job and there's no roadblocks. So yeah, it's similar to project manager, but not really project manager, I guess. So in software, there's this thing called Scrum Master, which is managing the team, but there's also a role called product owner, which is deciding what projects that the team is going to do for the next 3-6 months. So my role now is the product owner, and my previous role was this Scrum Master. So
Nice.
yeah.
That gives some great clarification, because I know
Yeah.
that there's everybody from Business 100 students that are just exploring a concentration, haven't decided yet, all the way up to graduate level students as well. So
yeah, and I think for me starting as Scrum Master definitely helped, because with Scrum Master you don't necessarily own the project. Like you won't get blamed if the project is delayed. So, but then also you would get to learn like what software looks like without actually like giving tasks to people. So if someone wanna do or try software world and not necessarily have a software background, I think being Scrum Master is definitely like a good way to enter the software world.
Great advice. Thinking back to your time here at CSU, did anything you do here, think of coursework, professors you worked with, internships? I know you were an intern at Accenture. Any clubs and orgs, relationships built still impact you today? Thinking back on your time.
Yeah, I think I would do more of like making networks, having a lot of networks. I think that goes a long way. Like you don't know what you would need in the next 3 years, right? So like make sure that like you build your network. And I feel like I did a lot that time when I was in MBA, but I feel like I could do more in building networks. So, and then analytical skills, Excel's work, like it's definitely helpful wherever you go, you will use Excel. And then yeah, I think Excel. What else? Just like being leadership. Because like me, I don't have people under me, but then like I still did like multiple projects, like multiple big projects. So making sure that like some leadership skills, your priorities, what should go first and what should come later. And I think the other one is negotiation too, because even if you don't negotiate contracts with like external customers, in my work, I also do some negotiating with stakeholders of like, hey, I know you request this, but can you wait for a month because I have the other project going on. So yeah, I think that's like really important skills that we should have.
Nice. All important skills, time management, negotiation, everything that can be.
Time management too, yeah. I have to block my lunch time so that like no one can schedule calls, because the amount of meetings we have every day is like crazy. Like I can have like 8 to 10 meetings a day.
Wow.
So just making sure that like you give time to yourself and to do some work or just relaxing is also important.
Super important. And thank you for taking the time over lunch here
Of course.
to chat with us. So as I said, 20 minutes would fly by and it's already 12:20. So I want to make sure that we have time for live audience questions. So if you have those, feel free to pop them in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask them just directly to Dhira. But I guess while everybody is wondering or thinking of their questions, Dhira, can you tell us a little bit about your work-life balance? You know, you just said you had 10 meetings a day. Sometimes like there's only 8 hours in a workday typically.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you? What is work-life balance? Yeah, we'll go from there.
That takes some efforts. It definitely have to come from you yourself, because like work can just give you everything, right? It just have to be able to say no, and no is a full answer. We learned that in the hard way, but like no, it's a full answer, and it's okay for you to say no if you actually like need time for yourself. So just like keep in mind that like work is not everything. You still need your life of like outside work, and I'm definitely still learning of like giving time for my life after work too. But yeah, just like make sure that work is not everything in your life, and there are other things that you need to do outside work. And yeah, for example, to like giving you time for lunch, because like for the first 3-6 months I was in software, I didn't have time for lunch, and my boss was like, okay, this block your calendar, don't do anything with it. And I was like, oh, that's actually an option, I don't know that. So yeah.
Great advice. That is nice that your manager realized that as well. That's always appreciated. Love that. So we have a couple that are coming through in the chat.
Yeah.
So Matthew asked, how did you get your Scrum Master certification? We'll start with that one.
Yeah, so when I first started as Scrum Master, the first month, my boss was like, hey, I think it is good to get you the Scrum Master certification. So they actually paid for my certification. Right. So that's like one of the benefits that we get is like we have that tuition reimbursement every year, and then I used that for my Scrum Master certification last year, and then this year I got my product owner certification. So mine was pretty easy because my company paid for it, but I think for Scrum Master certification, you don't necessarily have to have like a certain like years of experience. Like you can sign up and get your class and then take the test. There's a test for that, and then you get your certification.
Nice. Is that something, I know you've only been at Zayo with this, so, but do you hear from other competitors, is that typical that in the industry, typically the company pays for that and does that?
Yeah, I think as long as like it is connected to your job, you can usually use your tuition reimbursements for certification. But again, like other companies have other
professional development funds and stuff like that. Nice. So we have another one from Kelsey. As a junior product/project manager, what would you be looking for those skills to be hired? I noticed that there are a lot of junior PM roles and want a few years of experience.
Okay.
Good question.
So would you be looking for those skills? Like, I think what this means is like, what skills am I looking for? I think.
Yeah, I can imagine that a lot of roles online that are posted want multiple years of experience, and then we have students here that might not have any years of experience. So, yeah, what are some of those skills that they can do to build and stand out in the crowd?
Yeah, so I guess it depends, right? From the like school kind of experience, I think it is always nice to see students that do a lot of stuff outside classes. So not just like going to the class and come back and sleep, you know, but making sure that like you have other things besides classes that you can show off to during the interview, right? And then on the interpersonal skills, like I said earlier, like having a good personalities and being able to convince your interviewer that like you're willing to learn even though you don't know anything also goes along the way too. Because like we also interview people that have a lot of experience, but then when we talk to them, we're like, no, this is not the personalities that we're looking for. And then even though you have a lot of experience, it doesn't mean we would accept you just because like you have a lot of experience. Because again, in my team, having the personalities that fits the team culture is really important. So we rejected people just because like you just don't fit with us. So yeah. So yeah, that is also a good one too, is like making sure that you have a good personality and being able to connect to people during your interview. Because yeah, that time when I got called back after I get rejected is because my hiring manager thought that time that like I could connect with him. So he decided to keep my resume.
Yeah.
What else? I feel like there are a lot, but yeah, and yeah, I think those two are like important for sure.
Being a well-rounded student, doing things outside of classes, you know, networking, building your network, and that kind of leads in. Matthew says, not sure if this is a Patty or Dhira question, but how can online students take advantage of the CSU networking opportunities? So one, things like this, getting to network with Dhira. We also have a number of other events. We also have a LinkedIn group. So we can post the link to that in the chat as well. Maybe I can have one of my coworkers on the line pop that in the chat. But getting connected there in LinkedIn and reaching out, doing informational interviews. You know, we have other events throughout the semester. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop into the Career Management Center. You can email us. We can also put the email in the chat and our phone number as well for online students that might not be able to pop in. We're the office with the free snacks still, Dhira. We still have free snacks in our office. So
yes.
Love when students pop by, but know that that's not always possible for online as well. So
yeah, and I have other things to add too, because I just like reading the question again, because yeah, you're right. There are not a lot of like junior PM roles, and mostly needs like few years of experience. But that time when I was interviewing, I also don't have a lot of experience, obviously, but just like as simple as like having experience of like managing an event on college events, that also goes a long way, because you don't have an actual like work experience, but like you have an experience of like managing something. So that is so helpful for sure.
yeah. Awesome. I know we're almost pushing time here. So are there any other final questions from the audience? All right, Dhira, we will leave with one final question. If you had any one piece of advice to give students, what would you say?
Join clubs, go out, build your network, because that's definitely helpful for you to finally get a job you want. So
nice.
And then don't be afraid to just like reach out like random people on LinkedIn too. So
awesome.
That's also helpful for you to get interviews, because I definitely get like a few interviews because I just reach out to people randomly on LinkedIn.
That's amazing. I think that says so much, like one about you, but two about the initiative and what it can do for you. Reaching out to people you don't know, just getting involved and just putting yourself out there, because the worst that they'll say is no. So
yeah, the worst they could say is no, and it's fine. You still have your life, so it's fine.
I love that. Well, you've got some great nuggets of advice, and we so appreciate you being here with us today, Dhira. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to message me. I'll stay on the line here for a little bit longer as well. But yeah, happy Tuesday, everybody. The link to the recording will be posted in Handshake tomorrow. So we look forward to all the future Tuesday talks as well.
Cool. And yeah, reach out on like LinkedIn or something if you have any more questions for me.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dhira.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see everybody later.